Congress passed a 300-page law to fix the financial system. It worked exactly as intended, which is the problem. Here's what everyone believes. After 2008, regulators got tough. They wrote Dodd-Frank to rein in the banks, break up the risky behavior, and make sure a crash like that could never happen again. The law had teeth. It created new agencies, new rules, new oversight. Banks hated it. Mission accomplished, right? Well, walk with me through the actual text and you'll see something more complicated. Start with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the CFPB. This was genuinely new, a federal agency designed to police lending practices, credit cards, payday loans. It had a director. It had enforcement power. On paper, it looked like the answer to decades of predatory lending. But here's the catch. The CFPB could regulate how lenders operated, not whether they existed. It couldn't ban a product. It could only demand disclosure and fair terms. Then there's the Volcker Rule, named after the former Fed chair. It was supposed to ban proprietary trading, banks using their own money to gamble on markets. Sounds simple, except the rule had carve-outs for market making and hedging. Those exceptions swallowed the rule whole. Banks found ways to classify almost anything as one or the other. The trading continued, just under different labels. The real architecture of Dodd-Frank wasn't prohibition. It was complexity. The law required stress tests, capital ratios, living wills, detailed plans for how a bank would fail without dragging down the system. These tools sound powerful, and they are, technically. But they're also expensive to comply with, which means smaller banks got crushed, while the biggest ones absorbed the cost and grew even larger. Here's the irony. Dodd-Frank actually consolidated power in the largest institutions. The law made it harder for community banks and credit unions to survive. By 2020, the number of banks in America had dropped by a third since 2008. Consolidation meant the systemically important banks, the ones deemed too big to fail, became bigger. The law meant to prevent another crisis paradoxically created fewer, larger pressure points. And the lending practices that sparked 2008, subprime mortgages, predatory terms, securitization, they didn't disappear. They migrated. BNPL companies, fintech lenders, and shadow banks filled the gap. These weren't regulated the same way. The behavior Congress tried to fix simply moved to a less watched corner of the system. So what did Dodd-Frank actually do? It created a framework that looks like regulation, without fundamentally restructuring how money moves through the system. It gave regulators tools, but tools require will to use. It made the industry more complex, which favored the largest players. It was, in short, a solution designed by the system for the system, incremental, technical, and ultimately self-preserving. The lesson here isn't that Dodd-Frank failed. It's that it worked exactly as intended, which was to stabilize the existing structure, not transform it. Understanding that distinction is crucial to understanding how modern finance actually protects itself. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research. Subscribe for more histories of how financial systems actually operate, not how they're advertised to work. Subscribe for more unseen histories of how financial systems protect themselves. New deep dives every week. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research.